Yo, 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 what's happening, ladies and gentlemen? 8 minutes in, a little bit late, but we're... Did anyone hear any of what I've just said? Boomer moment, ladies and gentlemen. Big boomer moment right there. I was just talking right now into my microphone and I had no idea that no one could hear it. So we'll start again. Yeah, there's no sound. I know. Mad love and respect. Let me start again, ladies and gentlemen. You just missed everything that I just said, man. Oh, man. Do you know what? It wouldn't be a Traders Reality stream if there was no boomer moments, ladies and gentlemen. But welcome to the New York session. It's 10 past 2. And of course, we're waiting for that New York futures volatility, ladies and gentlemen. Firstly, what we're going to do is we're going to break down price action and start addressing the zone of interest for Bitcoin. We know it's midweek Thursday. We know that it's the reversal day. Could Bitcoin actually move back up, ladies and gentlemen? Who knows? But guess what? Let's have a conversation. Mad days, man. What is going on with me today? All right, let's dive into it, ladies and gentlemen. My God, I can't believe that just happened to me, man. Mike, that's your fault, bro. You need to create something to tell me that the mic's not on. That's on you, bro. It's never me. Anyways, all right, firstly, what is this zone of interest, ladies and gentlemen, that we're talking about? Well, look, let's roll on to the 1 hour time frame for the nature of demonstration, okay? As it stands in front of us, guys, we do have some interesting zones that Bitcoin has been spending a lot of time in, and we are at the point where we could see a brief recovery in Bitcoin, which will give us more information about how likely Bitcoin can continue back up, okay? Now, what's great for Bitcoin is the fact that the dollar index is taking a bleed to the downside. This is really important. We need the dollar to drop, because if the dollar can't drop, but Bitcoin's going to have a hard time actually moving up, ladies and gentlemen. So check this out. Look at that. That is beautiful. The dollar is now depreciating. It's going down. Okay, still up 3%, but it's now going down. It's hitting the range weekly low and the ADR for the session. Okay, we need that recovery. Now listen, ladies and gentlemen, anyone that is trading or got a strategy where it includes the range daily high and the range daily low, just be mindful. When there is a big move to the upside and they start working these ranges, be cautious, because they could just rip through those zones. Be very careful with that. On top of that, ladies and gentlemen, if dollar index is going down, then of course, our lady dollar yen is making a lovely bleed to the downside, which is exactly what we want to see yen doing. It's now working its way into this zone right here. I'm waiting for a break for this zone because it's a very important point for dollar yen to actually break from. Okay, and if they can successfully do that, happy days. Let's look at the euro for a split second. That's moving up, which makes up 56 to 57% of the dollar index. And when this moves up, happy days. We know that the dollar's going to go down. More importantly, if everything else is going up and dollar's going down, Bitcoin should be following suit, ladies and gentlemen. Bitcoin should be so moving and swiftly coming up into the range. But listen, we are at the psychological high and psychological low range. Until Bitcoin breaks out from this zone, ladies and gentlemen, there are no cigars for us. Okay, right now it looks like we are holding very well at these vector points right here. We've come back and recovered this vector. We've come back and recovered this vector. Okay, of course we have the problem of this candlestick right here, which is why we need to be very cautious about New York right now, because New York is currently setting up the Brinks box. It's setting up the idea that if Bitcoin's going to continue higher, the Brinks box needs to just flush through and move out to the upside. No more time for stop hunts. It's this Bitcoin's moment to try and come back up and recover from this massive low that we have had. We've taken last year's low and now we're finding some form of support. If you've been watching the videos, ladies and gentlemen, you would know full well that this drop to the downside could see the recovery of Bitcoin moving back up, ladies and gentlemen. It is so important that if it's going to move today, it has to move from this zone, ladies and gentlemen, and that is the truth. All right? So on that basis, the more Bitcoin stays away from the psychological range, so now it's the psychological low, the easier it is for us to understand that Bitcoin may be moving higher. Now listen, in terms of the cycles, ladies and gentlemen, we first need to take into consideration where we are in the bigger picture of the cycles. Okay. Now listen, if you are new to the hybrid system, ladies and gentlemen, and you haven't downloaded these indicators, make your way over to tradersreality.com so you can download the indicators free of charge. All right. Do that and then come to the streams and you'll get to work out how to utilize these indicators. Okay. Now, as you can see that we are coming from a big drop to the downside, and earlier on to the actual in the masterclass earlier on, I was talking about the bigger cycle that Bitcoin is sitting through on the higher time frame. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the daily time frame. And the reason why my computer is going like this is because I've got the Bookmap up, which is obviously taking a little bit of my RAM. Okay, here we go. Now in front of you, you can see Bitcoin. You've got the M formation at the highs of Bitcoin, all right, when it hit that 68, 69 zone, okay? Now, this is what we're looking for. We're looking for this structure, okay? We've got the M. We've got the rise up, we've got the drop, we've got a retrace, we've got another drop, we've got a retrace, we've got another drop, which would finalize Bitcoin to try and form this structure. Okay? This is what we want to see. All right? If Bitcoin can formulate this behavior on the daily, happy days. But what I'm looking for right now on the shorter time frame, so this one's for my holders as well. If you're going to be picking up Bitcoin at the 29 zone, okay, what point would you say, okay, I'm cool with picking up this amount of liquidity from Bitcoin. I'm good. I'm in a profit. What do I do with it? You pay yourself. Why? Because Bitcoin on the higher time frame, if you notice just then, that the 50 EMA, okay, was the only point in the chart that Bitcoin may actually struggle at, which is the 800 EMA on the 1 hour time frame. Bitcoin needs to break above this point before it can move higher. Now, if from this point it can break out and move all the way up to that point, and you as a holder have dollar cost averaged in and picked up more Bitcoin at these lows, then this would be a great place for you to start considering a payment. Why? Because on the retrace, which would be the rejection of the 50 EMA, we would then see the development of the bigger pattern coming into play, which would then lead Bitcoin to start the process again for the holders to start picking up Bitcoin at the lowest point with the anticipation to see it move higher later on. Okay? So as long as that's in your minds right there, ladies and gentlemen, and again, listen, people are getting wrecked when they don't pay themselves. And that's what this game is about. It's about surviving. It's about staying in the game. Pay yourselves. There is no glory in holding Bitcoin if you brought it at 40 and it's now at 30. There's no glory in holding Bitcoin if you brought it at 60 and now you're still holding it at 29. If you are a holder that doesn't care about Bitcoin's price, then of course picking it up and accumulating it is no problem for you. But some holders who may not have the liquidity to keep picking up Bitcoin will need to take advantage of the rises, the retraces, and the continuation so that you can start stacking more by having more money that you extract from the market by simply paying yourself, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? Now, what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to start diving into the Bookmap to make sense of the orders and the levels that Bitcoin could potentially be taking out. So, here we go. This is Bookmap, Binance, and we are trading right now above the VWAP, which is really good for us, okay? And as long as it trades above the VWAP, the narrative would dictate that Bitcoin's going to go higher. We've got commitment over here at 209 Bitcoin up here. So the idea is this: if price makes its way towards this point right here, which would see the 29,900 zone, then in principle, what would happen is at this point, the sellers may get triggered, but at the same token, we'd want to see the limit buys stepping in to keep price moving up. So in other words, I want to know if Mr. Market Maker is going to try and make another attempt to the upside, not to just sell into liquidity or sell at a premium, but to mark up higher on the principle that he's been building his longs, at lower prices to actually move price higher. Okay, so I want to know if Mr. Market Maker is going to realize a profit on his investment. Okay, sorry for not actually addressing you all, ladies and gentlemen, but I just want to say what is good. Mad love and respect to everyone passing through to the live. And if you are new to the New York session, ladies and gentlemen, I won't be going live tomorrow unless Bitcoin does something absolutely phenomenal, because I don't normally go live on a Friday, but we are now going to get into the flavor of the live. We're going to start breaking down price and we're going to talk a little bit fast. So if you are new to the channel, ladies and gentlemen, just bear with me. I might sound like I'm going crazy on this, but it's the only way that I can help you understand the way price moves. We speak into speculation, ladies and gentlemen. That's the truth. Is Mr. Market Maker building his longs at lower prices to start flushing through to make his way out above the 30k range? The 30k range is still a bit of a problem for us because it looks like they are still building shorts in this zone. So for my day traders, my short-term day traders, always take into consideration the idea and the logic of paying yourselves, okay? We will be here tomorrow. We will be here the next day. Crypto trading ain't going nowhere until it's switched off. And this money-making machine for Mr. Market Maker will always be endorsed and it will always be operating, because until you get rid of the fear and greed in people, then you will have no market. Till then, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be happy trading. Happy days. Let's roll with it. Here we go. So what we've got right now on the book map, you can see that they've come up to this point right here where the delta is showing that 506 Bitcoin was absorbed at this point. In essence, they've been lifting the ask price and selling into the traders who are buying at this point. What we're looking for is we're looking for the commitment to see if they can continue moving back up and trigger the same amount of interest at a higher point in the chart. As you can see, up at 30k, we've got 206 Bitcoin, 271, 157, and they seem to be cancelling and placing those orders simultaneously whilst price moves. What I'm looking for is I'm looking for price in this area here to start showing interest on the narrative that they're going to want to try and move price higher, because they're going to be able to trigger the interest from traders who are selling at this point and buying at this point. But in other words, what's Mr. Market Maker actually doing? You see, when we look at the psychological high and the psychological low, we know that this is the range that the market maker sets the spread for the rest of the week. In other words, he's either going to build his longs or his shorts within this range, and then for the rest of the week, he's going to trade away from it. Unfortunately, Bitcoin has stayed within this range, which is consistent with accumulation. All right. So all we need to be aware of is how likely Bitcoin is going to hold this range and shift away from it. But the problem that we've got is this nasty little green vector candle down here. So we want to make sure that in the New York session, when the futures open, that the market is going to favor and move back up. Quite frankly, ladies and gentlemen, the markets have taken a battering to the downside. Look at the NASDAQ. It's taken a complete bleed and rejected these zones. Happy days. It's gone down lower. Yesterday's short paid off well. Okay. Now listen. We are at a very important point right now in the NASDAQ. Could we be in line for a little bit of a recovery? They're saying that they've already priced in the idea of a recession. Okay? So if they've priced in the narrative of a recession, what could we expect from New York? In other words, if New York retraces back up, Bitcoin will follow suit. But the aggressive nature of the dollar index actually dropping down could be in line for some profit taking. It could be setting that up for everyone. Gone down below 3%. Okay, so now it's at 2.9. Oh, sorry, it's 102, but it's down to 2.9%. It's still appreciated, but it's down. Okay, which would then lead us to believe that the strength is present to shift price down lower. Now, of course, we've just had some news announcements or news coming out at 3 p.m. today. So listen, 3 p.m. is the magic hour. If the existing home sales come in better than expected, expect a little bit of a retrace back up in the dollar index. All right. At the same token, we're going to look at gold, and look at gold, man. That W formation, we drew it yesterday, but it's the understanding of the range. Look what's happening. That is shifting out. Bitcoin in principle should be following suit on the smaller W formation right here. Now, it's starting to pull back a little bit, which is cool, but I'm waiting for the futures markets to open. So let's see if Bitcoin can continue with its movement back up, because we are now going to be testing the psychological low. So let's bring up the book map a second. Okay, then. Who's in the room with me today, man? Yeah, listen, guys, if you're not getting the notification on YouTube, all right, make sure you just hit that bell. I don't normally say it, and I've not really said it in the past, but apparently I need to say it. All right? So just make sure you hit that bell so you get notified. And if you still don't get notified, then Mr. Market Maker, of course, is watching the streams, and he's got some negotiation with YouTube to not let anybody know about how the business works. I mean, let's face it, guys, there is a lot of discussion right now happening in the crypto space with regards to Luna, with regards to all sorts that is happening. Stable coins, what's the problem? Ultimately, this is what it is. Making sure that you pay yourselves. That's all I'm saying to you. You have to pay yourselves. Because whether or not there's speculation about one stablecoin getting depegged, and there's all sorts of scams and what have you, just listen. If you're going to come into the game of speculation, all right, the idea is to stay in it, take your money out, pay yourselves as frequently as possible, okay? It's no different to you going into a mosh pit at a rock concert. You're going to get roughed up, you know? Many a times I went to the Slipknot concerts, the Metallica concerts. I was there in the mosh pit getting mad. But I couldn't stay in there too long because I would have ended up with a broken bone. Step in, 2 seconds, see a guy, headbutt, shift out. That's me. Scalping in the mosh pits, ladies and gentlemen. That's unbelievable. No, I do not recommend that you do that, ladies and gentlemen. That is a bit of a mad thing to say, but, you know, I do like my concerts. I do like a good old rough up in a mosh pit, but happy days. Anyways, guys, let's get back to it. So listen, with this move up by Bitcoin, the narrative is that the dollar index is moving down. So there could be some profit taking, all right? Which would give room for Bitcoin to move back up. That's what we want, okay? Now, this big push up has led Bitcoin to come back down again, and what we're waiting for is the narrative for them to step in again and move up. Because it looks like everyone's trying to get a bit of a recovery from yesterday's sell-off, and Bitcoin's done a great job of doing that, okay? Look at the W formation. We naturally expect a retrace into the psychological low. But I'm waiting for that 6 minutes until the futures markets, ladies and gentlemen. 5 minutes until the futures markets. This could be the setup. Remember, New York is all about stop hunts. Okay? They want to trap traders. Bitcoin can't go up now. It needs to go down. It needs to go down. We don't care if you think it needs to go down. What we care about is when is the move going to start to go down or to go up. We want to try and decipher that by the nature of looking at the vector candles and where they are trying to pull back from. You can see right here the confluence of the psychological low with the 200 EMA on the 15-minute time frame is a big confluence. We are waiting for them to confirm their interest at this point by understanding the relationship between the bids and the ask at this point in time. Yes, the VWAP is all the way down there, and if Bitcoin does make its way down and violates the psychological low, then we're likely to see it come into the green vector candle range and probably test the daily open, okay? But as it stands, we don't need to worry about that just yet. New York futures will be opening in three and a half minutes time. So we'll get more information about that. Bitcoin dominance is currently at 45.24. That is pretty good. Bitcoin dominance is picking up. Same token, let's have a look at Ethereum. Ethereum is coming back up from the little structure that we've got right here in the zone. Now, there are a lot of vector candles in here, but if you notice the concentration of the market maker trying to push price out of the zone, he's buying up at a discount, okay? Buying up at a discount so that he can start flushing out all the shorts that have been opened on this move to the downside, and those people that didn't pay themselves are now going to have to pay the price in points of liquidation points. So hypothetically, if Ethereum is going to make the move up today, we would expect Ethereum to try and take this zone right here, which sits around at the 2001, 2014 mark, to build the longs at lower prices to flush through and break out of that range. How far will Ethereum go? Completely different story, ladies and gentlemen, but we just need to mark off our zones in the chart to be aware of how likely, if they show support at this point, will they move back up into that range. But do not dismiss the idea that the market could reverse. Always be aware of the trickery of the market maker, ladies and gentlemen, whether you believe him to exist or not. This game is about movement. They don't care about your opinion. They care about your opinion in value, which means if you believe Bitcoin's going to go up, or you think Bitcoin should be priced at 30K, you're going to start buying it up. And Mr. Market Maker's going to sell into you because he knows that you don't have the liquidity to withstand the fluctuations in price. Why? Because he can be irrational, you can't. That's the truth. Market makers have pools of liquidity, ladies and gentlemen. Deeper pockets than oblivion. Unbelievable. Core pockets, ladies and gentlemen. That's why they can move price up and move price down. And if you notice, all the liquidation points that have happened in the ranges since last week, we're talking about $20 to $30 billion worth of liquidations, man, in the last week alone. And look at where Bitcoin is. It's not really gone anywhere. It's only gone back into the same spot it was not so long ago. Okay, here we go. There's our commitment right there, ladies and gentlemen. We're coming into the last 2 minutes of the half an hour candle just before the futures markets does decide to open. It seems as though everything seems to be moving back up. We've got the NASDAQ moving nicely. Come on, that's all good. That's what we want to see. Dollar yen, you need to keep moving down. Happy days, you keep going down. Euro USD. Nice. Okay, it's pulling back a little bit. Dollar index. Where's that? Actually, let's look at USDT. Ah, lovely. But that's a bit of a concern for me. I don't like that on USDT dominance, because what's happening now is traders are seeking crypto. They are buying up Bitcoin, okay? And they're probably going to keep on buying until they feel as though they're going to start taking some profits, which in principle would lead price to come back up in the dominance. But what I'm looking for is a rejection, and then for them to come back down and rip into these ranges and start attacking some of this liquidity down here in the charts, ladies and gentlemen. This is what I want to see. If they can't get back up, look at that. They came back up into that previous red vector candle range, and then they've snapped it back down again. Hopefully this can maintain its movement to the downside, which would tell me the psychology of traders is they are favoring risk and they want to start putting their money into Bitcoin. So happy days for Bitcoin. Let's bring that chart up again now. Bitcoin, here we go. We've got getting movement. We're going into the last 25 seconds of the New York session. Not 25 seconds, but we're getting ready for the open. Let's see if we can see the proof of the move. We got 271 volume of Bitcoin picked up at that point. We got 79 in that zone. Seems to be stalling, but they have actually shown support at this point. Let's see if they can hold this range, ladies and gentlemen, going into the start. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Bang. Future sessions, ladies and gentlemen. Let's roll with it. Here we go. Let's see what volatility is going to happen. Keep an eye on the bookmap, guys. Here we go. We've got some movement happening in the charts, guys. Let's see what we are going to see in this range. Are we going to see a move up? Is this the stop hunt? Or are they going to finalize and get out of this range? The M2 pivot seems to be confirmed from earlier on, and I want to see Bitcoin try and finalize up into the psychological high. But remember, we are in the brink spot still, so we're waiting for that fake move. We're waiting for the stop hunt. Is this going to finalize and move back up, or is it going to just snap back down? We need to wait and see what's happening, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully we don't get no phone call from Steve today. That'll be terrible if we do. But we are expecting the retrace to test into this psychological low. Here we go. Come on, Bitcoin. What have you got for us? Keep making your move, Bitcoin. Keep making your move. Hold your range. The markets right now are just absorbing price action from last night. Absorbing Asia's intention to mark price up in a certain fashion. Here we go. We're going to see that could Bitcoin actually come back down to the VWAP down here to test the bounce to continue back up. We've got quite a bit of Bitcoin down here, 229 at 29,280, and then we've got 202 at 29,200 as well. Bitcoin really needs to hold this range. I need to zoom in a little bit more. We've got 322 Bitcoin at 29,840, 309 at 30,000. I want to see the commitment coming in. They need to break above this zone, and more Bitcoin needs to be picked up at this point. And of course, 74 Bitcoin over there as well. Until we get that commitment, ladies and gentlemen, this move will not play out. Okay, so we just need to be mindful of that. Want to see the movement back up again. And remember, the psychological ranges are always tricky ranges to be trading within. Okay, great for scalpers, but they're always a little bit of a tricky zone. So here we go. Is it going to happen? Here we go. We've got 73 Bitcoin on the sell-off right there. Are they going to make their way up into that zone? The only way we can really gauge if they're going to move higher is if we start paying attention to commitment coming into this point right here. If they start removing orders from here, then they're acting as spoofs, which would then imply that Bitcoin's going to reverse from this zone. But I want to keep an eye on commitment up here. As you can see, we've got 289 there, 244, 355 Bitcoin coming up at 30K. That's a lot of liquidity right there. Are we going to see 400? Will we see 400 Bitcoin? Is it a spoof? Bang, it looks like it was a bit of a spoof. The liquidity is actually coming off. They could be adding it sooner into the chart. We're on our way into this zone right here. Could we see that movement back up? 295 Bitcoin is still not going to be removed yet. That's good news for us. Come on, Bitcoin. Ideally, it needs to come up towards the 30K mark, break out of that point, retrace back down. Then we'll get the proof of the move on the test of the 50 EMA. That's what we're looking for. Tino on speed today, yeah? Am I on speed? I hope Steve doesn't call, man. Because whenever Steve calls, he always brings that fire, that madness in the charts, man. Absolutely despicable. But I know he watches the streams. That's the thing. He does watch the streams, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, here we go. We got some movement right now. Here we are coming away from the psychological low. That's good news for us, guys. That's good news. If we dive in closer to the bookmap itself, and we're going to understand the relationship between the bid and the ask. Remember, the bid is the green line. The ask is the red line. All right. Market maker sells into premium, which is the red line, where traders are stepping in and buying. Market maker sells and buys. Sorry, he buys when traders are selling at the bid, which is the green line. And this relationship between buyers and sellers, in principle, is an auction place. Here we go. We've got some movement right now. Are we going to see that play? Come on, Bitcoin, make that move, man. 29,700. Keep that liquidity up there at 29,800. I really do hope that's going to be the case. Oh, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Well, what do you know? What do you know? What's good, Steve? How we doing? How's your day? Bro, I'm only asking how you are, man. Bitcoin up or down? It's simple as that. I've got no time to sit and talk and ask how you are. I know how you are. Bitcoin up or down? That's what I want to... Oh my God, man. This guy, yet again, every single time. I'm going to stop answering the call to this idiot. I really am. I'm going to stop. All right. That's me. I'm done with Steve, ladies and gentlemen. I'm finished with the guy. All right. Anytime my phone rings, I ain't going to answer it. I'm not interested. He can keep ringing as much as he wants. I ain't going to answer it again. He knows exactly what he said right there. All right. I'm sick of it. Anyways, back to the chart. Right now, I can see that they could be actually trapping certain traders. The traders that are forcing the shorts, okay? So based on this play right here, I would anticipate that they would want to try and shift out. Let's see if they can actually play that out. I want to know if they're going to do that. Liquidity seems to be getting removed right now, so that narrative might not play out. But we see Bitcoin trying to move away from the psychological low. So let's see if we're going to have that holding of this range. Remember, this is diving into the development of the candlestick. Okay, so this could be, look, at 29,680. It's all the way up in this zone where this activity is happening. And remember, the market maker develops his moves. Okay, look, we've got this relationship now. Rise up, take a drop, pick up more. Rise up, take a drop, pick up more. Rise up, take a drop, pick up more. That's what they're doing. So they're now hitting the bids, ladies and gentlemen. They are working the bids, and we're waiting again for another bit more commitment from the market maker to step in. I don't like that. If you notice there on the green bubble, it increased and then it actually shrunk again. Okay, here we go. Are we going to see the same test in that zone? Because if they come back to this point right here, they could trigger more sales in that zone. So we've got to be cautious. Price needs to stay away from this point. Bitcoin's doing a good job of holding. All right. We've got 25.2. We do have news announcements, which could be the reason why Bitcoin is stalling right now, okay? But they may be anticipating a reduction in the existing home sales, which is probably why yen is probably dropping down, but we could get a surprise figure which could lead it to move higher again. So we just need to be cautious of the 3 o'clock time, guys. Just remember that. Wait until after 3 o'clock. Here we go. Are we going to see that break above the M3 pivot? Okay, because the principle says that if Bitcoin can hold the M2 pivot zone down here, which is at the daily open, then we project out Bitcoin towards the M4 pivot zone, which is yesterday's high and above the 200 EMA on the 1 hour time frame, which has been a problem for Bitcoin. This doesn't mean that Bitcoin is going to continue higher all the way up towards the all-time highs and even try and take 50, 60K. No, remember, as a day trader, I am looking for points in the chart where Mr. Market Maker could trap traders with the belief that it's going to go higher. Look, there's a point in the chart where he's able to build his shorts at the highest possible point. He's already been to it again and triggered traders' interest at that point. Now he's coming back from this zone. Principle would say that if he comes back up into this zone, he'd be able to trigger the same interest yet again. If he's going to build his more longs in this zone, then he's likely to send price into this area to trap traders on the belief that it's now time to go up. Okay? Because traders set orders at these moving averages, which is why they spike them and come back down again. Okay, here we go. We've got some movement. Here we go. Yippee-ki-yay to the upside, Bitcoin. Keep going. Don't pull back. Do not pull back. That liquidity up there, guys. 200, 300 Bitcoin just below the 29,860 point. That is what we want to see. We want to see these big moves. Come on, Bitcoin. Keep going. We've got 22 minutes until the start of the new 1 hour candle. Ideally, I want to see this turn into a vector candle. Okay, I'll be satisfied with that. Let's go into the 15-minute time frame. Let's see if we can actually absorb a move. Is it going to be a vector candle or not? There we go, 1, 2, 3 vectors. If this candle, if knowledge serves correctly, this candle should turn into a blue vector within 7 minutes. If it doesn't, that's good news for us because it means that they could actually favor higher prices. If it turns into a blue vector candle, then we would understand that we've got 3 hits to the high in principle where they're starting to slow down the move. But I want to make sure that they keep on moving up. Okay, we are in the psychological ranges right now, guys. We are coming into the previous recovery of the red vector candle range. Remember what we said earlier on about the book map. Rise, drop it, pick up more. 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 That's exactly what we're doing. That liquidity there doesn't look like it's going. However, as price approaches it, okay, it might actually remove it. So we've got to keep an eye out on this area here because then that would imply that we are effectively at the highest point of this move, okay? So hopefully they just break into this range, all right? Here we go. Come on, man. Come on, man. Are you entertained, ladies and gentlemen? Are you excited? You shouldn't be excited. This is the truth of trading, all right? We're speaking into speculation. We're trying to make sense of Mr. Market Maker's behavior. We've had our little phone call from Steve. Hasn't really done anything for us. So we really want to see if they're going to start ripping Bitcoin higher. Okay? The psychological low and the 200 EMA seem to have been tested. That's good news for us. The 5 and 13 EMA are still pointing upwards. That's good news for us until otherwise. Okay? 306 Bitcoin, 307 now. They've gone just from below 280. Now they've gone back up into the 306 zone. I like the idea that it's holding. Okay? So that's good news for us. All right? Not really seeing big deltas just yet. They're coming back into this point. Could they find support at this zone? Looks like it's coming back down. Come on, Bitcoin, where we at? 22. We're going to see another 15-minute candle starting very shortly. Are they going to come back up from this point? Nice structure. Are they going to hold it? Are they going to break down lower? Are they finished with the delta? Maybe, maybe not. It's quite interesting. They're wicking and whacking price up in this zone. I just want to see Bitcoin flush through. Try and take that 29,800 zone. That will be consistent with them coming back up into this previous red vector candle range. Because if they can't break out of here and get above this 30k zone, then Bitcoin's going to have a problem. There is a whole number nearby, and they gravitate towards the whole numbers because that's where people place liquidity. All right? Now, if Mr. Market Maker is whipping and whacking price up and down just before it gets to 30k, that would be consistent with him building shorts so that when he flushes price, be consistent with him building his longs and closing them and building his shorts at the same time so that when he flushes through the 30k range, he's then able to reverse price, tap the zones, hit the liquidations, and then continue back up again. Man, I'm losing my speech. What is going on? What's going on here? It appears Bitcoin has ripped my green jumper. That's the funniest thing you could say. Dump back to 28. Ah, man, we can't worry about 28 just yet. Let's see. You know what? They could actually remove price from here and drop down to 28. Okay? But the nearest point that we need to be aware of is this point right here, the 29, because that's where the last vector candle resides. They've been recovering each vector that they've been having in the chart. So that's good news. There's no spaces. Look what happens here. They recovered this candle, came down, moved away from it, recovered this candle, and then they finalized with this candle. The only candle in this zone that they haven't fully recovered is this one. All right. So what they're doing now is they're in essence trying to work to try and recover this candlestick right here. If the interest is going to be consistent, then they're going to start moving away from that point, which is telling me now that they could actually be seeing a bit of a recovery on the dollar index. Let's just see. Dollar index is being hammered, ladies and gentlemen. Euro yen, is it moving back up? Where's Euro yen? There we go. No, sorry, Euro USD. Shooting up. Dollar yen? Interesting. Coming back up again. Could be the news play, ladies and gentlemen. That could be the reason for it. NASDAQ. Shooting back up. Happy days for NASDAQ. What are the yields saying? Now they're coming back up. 10-year. Yep, okay, that makes sense. Gold. Gold's coming back down, which is consistent with Bitcoin moving back down again. Let's see if they are going to hold this range. Looks like a bit of a consolidation going to USDT. Where's USDT? Right there. What's that saying? It's coming back up ever so slightly. All right, I'm not convinced about that. Let's go there. Holding in that range. Okay, let's bring this up. Right, they're coming back now. Come on. Ah, come on. Shouldn't have done that. I should not have done that. Here we go. All right, then. So, this point is going to be tested. Okay? We've got Delta coming in 116. It could be building up. Could get another 200 in this area. All right? Because the liquidity is there for them to take. So one more big red bubble would satisfy the idea that they're marking price down lower to move up. If they don't do it, even better. That means that they're getting ready to shift back up again. But just look at the behavior. 316 Bitcoin all the way up there now. They're not seeming to cancel this, and we've got more stacked at the 208, 203. But remember, guys, we've got news coming out in 15 minutes, all right? So just be cautious of that. We've got news coming out in 15 minutes. Now, if it is favorable for the US dollar, that might be a problem for Bitcoin, okay? Because then price would then reverse back down and start tapping into the daily open. And that will be consistent with traders taking their positions from gold and moving it back down again. Okay, so just be mindful of that. 15 minutes, we will have a news announcement. So just be cautious. Here we go. 74 Bitcoin in that. So from 141, we've got movement, more movement down. Here we go. Testing that 5 EMA. Here's the proof. Coming back into this zone. Is it going to hold? Psychological low. Will it hold? Come on. I need to see these slowing down now because I'm not seeing the big figures. They're eating 124 Bitcoin right there, moving down. See, when you look at it on here, it doesn't look great, okay? On there, it's not as bad, all right? Now we're going to wait and see if the commitment's going to come in. Violet vector candle, 1 more minute. Here we go, new 15-minute candle. Principle would say that this is acting as a stopping volume candle, but we'll see the proof of this move very shortly. Here we go. Here we go. Next candle should try and recover this bad boy, man. I hope it does. Come on. Test that 5. Coming back into that psychological low. Here we go. 43 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on to your horses. Here we go. Here we go. Come on. Do that move. What are you picking up right there? It's like disappearing. Now it's moving down. Come on. There it is. It's picking up lots of orders right now. They're moving lower. They've made their way in. They're coming towards that VWAP, man. Look at that full recovery. Here's the test. Here's the test. Psychological low. Here's the test. The structure is still present, guys. We need these retraces. The structure's still present. Here we go. Can it hold that 200 EMA, or is it going to completely bleed out in this range? Come on, Bitcoin. 29,500. Test that point. 3, 2, 1. Bang. Here's the proof. Here's the proof of the move. Will they recover back up? Is it going to start, or is it just going to flush through that range? Here's that delta, man. Nasty, nasty. 100 Bitcoin right there. Psychological low test. Yeah, they're running for this. Tested that 13 EMA. It's going. Come on, Bitcoin. Give me that spiked out behavior. Give me that wick. Is this going to be the wick? Find your low. Find your low. Where's the commitment? Is it coming in? Here we go. Slowly creeping up, ladies and gentlemen. Just below the 29,500 zone. That liquidity up there. 355 Bitcoin. It doesn't look like it's going. This is really interesting. Think about it. Building the longs to try and come back up. If they do come back up, they've got to get past this zone right here. Are they going to come back up into this wick? Into this vector candle range? If the strength isn't present, we've got news announcements in 15 minutes. This is consistent with them hitting the lows. Oh, my days. What's yen doing? Yen's moving down as well. This is interesting. 15-minute time for me to go on to the smaller time frames to make sense of this play. Well, we're coming back into a consolidation zone. No problem. Testing our rejection of the 800 EMA. Holding this psychological low. This is a proof move. We want to know if they mean business. Is this to be a rise, retrace, continuation, or is it going to flush back down into this zone right here, ladies and gentlemen? We've got to be mindful, man. Can't ignore these areas in the chart. Here it goes. Here we go. Come on, Bitcoin. Lots of movement down, picking up all these orders right here. Zooming out just to see where we are. Not really seeing that much commitment down here, ladies and gentlemen. It's coming back down to the last point where they moved away from. They break beyond this structure. It's a problem for Bitcoin. Test of the 50 EMA. That stopping volume candle has acted like... Oh, man, look. Now we got 321 Bitcoin at the 29 zone. 325 at 29,850. Just smells like a dodgy move. Smells like a dodgy move. It stinks. Are we going to get that wick? Are we going to get that wick? Or are we just going to flush out of this zone? Because we've got the pivot point right here, ladies and gentlemen. Sit tight. What time are we on? 15 more minutes. I obviously got to go and get my daughter. I want to see it into that news play. I really want to see that news play. Come on, Bitcoin. What you got for us? Look, it's slowing down. Seems to be slowing down. I'm not really seeing that push. 29,400. Yeah, it's that same zone. Look how they come back into that zone. It's typical for a retrace in the area. Come on, Bitcoin. Show us your flavor. Is this our midweek reversal? Is this all they're going to give us for Thursday? Tapping that 50 EMA. Interesting. Come on. Tino liquidated. Bro. Nah. Not in this lifetime. Here we go. Come on, man. 1, 2. Seems... Why are they stalling? What's the story here? Seeing a bit of a recovery on yen? Maybe? Retrace? Continuation? This is the test of the psychological low, ladies and gentlemen. Notice how it's just stalling at this point. 310 Bitcoin right now on these orders. Zoom out a little bit. Ignition algo. Right. There's the VWAP right there. Okay. So if it's going to turn, this is where it will turn. If it can't hold, it will flush to the downside, ladies and gentlemen, and completely annihilate the range. We've got commitment in this area, and look at this move. It's controlled to the downside. Look at this phenomenal amount of liquidity in this area, okay? There's something going off here. We're getting ready for a setup of a move. This is what I believe will happen. Let's see if they do decide to roll with it. Standard & Poor. Is the actual index is dropping? That's unfortunate. That could be the case, guys. They could be actually, if the S&P is dropping, yeah, if it's still dropping, phenomenal. Come on, it just doesn't feel right. I want to know about these news announcements in 10 minutes time. If the existing home sales are good, then fine. If they're not, gold will shoot up, which will fuel Bitcoin's movement. All right? If it's bad news for the existing home sales, Bitcoin should come back up, because it's the only way that Bitcoin can go up if there is strength being lost in the dollar. All right, here we go. Come on, what's this? 67, slowing down on the delta to the downside. Let's see if we got proof of this. 29,421, coming back up into the psychological low. Hopefully we see that. That was a bit of an aggressive push. 338 Bitcoin right there. 225 in that zone. Collectively, 550 Bitcoin in this point. Got some delta being absorbed. 182 Bitcoin right now. Controlled move to the downside with the intention to pick up more. Lower prices to come back up. Let's see if they trigger that. Just look at this behavior right here, guys. Look at this. It is actually phenomenal. We've got more commitment up here where interest is present as opposed to down here. All right? Just want to see it hold this range. Ideally, I want to see the VWAP edging upwards and getting closer to price as opposed to price going towards it, because then it would mean they're holding this range. And if they don't hold this range, then Bitcoin's going to break down lower, even with that 200 EMA in sight right there, guys. All right. There's points in interest in the chart that we can see Bitcoin moving towards. OK, testing now the pivot point on the 5-minute time frame. All right, we're coming into 9 more minutes until the final hour, ladies and gentlemen. And then we have the existing home sales and, of course, the unemployment claims, which is going to make the difference on this move. If this move is set up for Bitcoin to go higher, principle would say that the unemployment claims are coming in more than what they want them to be, which would force dollar down and bring gold back up, which would then lead Bitcoin's move higher. I'm hoping that Bitcoin just moves away from the disparity between the S&P and the NASDAQ. So let's see if they can do that right now, because Bitcoin's done a good job of holding so far and trading away from this range. All right. Yeah, I would love that. If Bitcoin can trade away from its own zone, I mean, it would need a lot more liquidity to do that, guys. A lot of liquidity would be required for Bitcoin to trade and only base it by itself. All right. It's following the NASDAQ. It's following sentiment, which is why I'm focusing on this news announcement at 3 p.m. Okay, which I do want to see with you guys. My daughter will probably lose her mind because I'm not picking her up in time, but that's no problem right there. So here we go. Let's see. We seem like we're holding this pivot point right now, guys. Looks like there's just a lot of containment right now. That could be a clue. That order right there could be a clue. Let's see if it's actually going to play out. Because there's more. They've taken some liquidity off here. That's important. And there's nothing else up here. And it's really flat down here. Are we going to see that commitment? 108 Bitcoin right here. Would the market maker be going long from this point, buying at a discount? Everyone's gone short right now. So now they're going to try and attack the short liquidation points in this zone. That is what the principle would say. Let's see if they do follow through with that. 8 minutes. Come on, BTC. Hold your beef. 29,360. Slowing down. It's floating price, ladies and gentlemen. It is floating price. Here we go. What's this? See that there? That little move right there. Oh, okay, Bitcoin. Come on then. What are you doing? Make it. Still containment of these orders. Keep an eye out on the orders up here, guys. Just watch them, because if they're spoofs, very shortly, those guys who are putting the orders here will lose interest. And then they'll change narrative to mark price down lower and try and fill orders down here. Come on, news announcements. Come on. How long we got? 7 minutes. Man, this looks like it's taking absolutely forever. Let's just go elsewhere and have a look at Ethereum. Ethereum's taking a bleed down and coming back into that green vector candle zone that we spoke about earlier on, which is pretty consistent. But we've got this violet vector candle right now, guys, which is it is good news for us on the basis that they're going to try and come back up and recover into that point. I'm cool with that. Going to the SPX. It's bleeding downwards, man. NASDAQ trying to come back up. Doing exactly the same behavior as Bitcoin. It's doing its best to hold that zone. Dollar yen still moving down, which is good for Bitcoin. We want Bitcoin to go up and yen to move down. Gold, how's gold? Gold's moving up, man. That's good news. So gold might be moving up first and then Bitcoin might follow suit very shortly. Okay, that'll be cool. Euro still creeping upwards. Oil. What's oil doing? Oh, we've had a bit of a movement by oil. It's actually come back down towards the 106 point. That's fair enough for us. That's okay. I'm cool with that. Let me just bring up on the 15-minute time frame. And we've got 6 more minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Now, what you're noticing here, guys, is I jump between certain assets because each asset is going to give you an understanding of traders' commitment at certain points. Okay? So when we look at gold, we look at oil, we look at the S&P, all right? Remember, Bitcoin is still a commodity, all right? And it's a new traded asset. It's not old. I mean, sorry, sorry. It's new, okay? Here we go. Seem to be holding that point. That's a problem. I don't like that. We're now seeing an even distribution of orders between this zone. So who's going to win? Are we going to see that move back up? Come on, Bitcoin. 5 more minutes. All right, listen, this is one of two things can happen. If prior to the news, this next 5 minutes, prior to the news, if Bitcoin does decide to shoot up, okay, that could be the stop hunt. All right? If the news is going to be favorable for the dollar, that's a problem for anything trading against the US dollar. If it's not favorable, Bitcoin in principle should be moving back up, ladies and gentlemen, and they should start taking this liquidity right here. But only a few moments ago, there was nothing here. All right, now we're seeing the liquidity, so we just need to be mindful of that. What have we got? 116 Bitcoin, 182 Bitcoin, and 198 Bitcoin in this zone. We look at the sell-off, and we don't really see the same amount. I mean, yeah, we've got lots of commitment. They're hitting the bids right there, but Mr. Market Maker's the guy buying into the guys who are selling at that point. So let's see if they can actually run back up into the recovery of this red vector candle. That will be happy days for us. The liquidity is going. Don't like that. I don't like that. Here we go. 4 minutes. Man, these minutes are taking absolutely forever, ladies and gentlemen. You know? Phantom moving up probably will. Gold is king. I agree. Gold is king. Now listen. This move down could be the shorts coming in to, in essence, give the idea that, oh, it's going to drop, which would encourage more shorts to be opened, which is the market maker's attempt at getting Bitcoin cheaper because he goes long on the retrace. So he's realized his shorts, come back down, build some more longs. He's made a profit. Look how he's come back into that point right there, respected that zone and moved away from it. So in other words, the commitment of traders came in from this point over here in the chart. All right, look at that. 957 Bitcoin just below at the 29,550. Who says they don't act at keyhole numbers, ladies and gentlemen? No, look, it disappeared. It disappeared. Completely disappeared. We should see it coming in again. I'm hoping that it comes back in again. You saw that 950 Bitcoin came in and disappeared. All right? Something sinister is happening, ladies and gentlemen. We've got the movement. Is the news going to be favorable for Bitcoin? And when I say favorable, listen, the housing starts and the unemployment claims has got nothing to do with Bitcoin. All right? But it's got everything to do with the dollar. So if it's going to be bad for the dollar index in principle should be coming down, which would lead commodities like gold to move up against the US dollar, which will fuel the move for euro to move higher. Okay? That's what we want to see. This is all we're waiting for, guys. Well, we got 2 more minutes, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to get exciting. Let's see if they actually do. Now, the news itself, it's not really a market mover, but it's going to contribute to some movement. You can see what we're dealing with right now. We've got wild behavior. We've got a stopping volume candle on, it's on MT4, but we've got a stopping volume candle right here. It just hasn't been printed on Binance. We've got the vector candle right here. Ideally, if this move is going to sustain itself, it should see Bitcoin move higher. Let's go on to the higher time frames for a split second. 4-hour time frame. Looks like it's doing a good job of trying to get above this 5 and 13 EMA, which would be happy days for us for them to come back up into this liquidity right here. Remember, this is where they're going to want to sell from. So I want to see them march into that point. And if they can break through that point, then they can start working up these previous structures right here. Let's go into the 8-hour chart. 8-hour chart's been doing well. It's been going up for the past 8 hours, so that's promising, but they rejected that 13. 10-hour chart doing great to recover the previous vector, and we've got the violet vector candle right here, so I'm hoping that we do see that movement back up. 15-hour and 17-hour chart, strong open, very minimal interest down here to mark price down lower, so hopefully we see that move happening. Here we go, we've got 1 more minute until that happens. 22-hour chart doing well for the day. Breaking pattern. Look, this is what we're looking for, man. Look at this. A recovery back up into this range. After that, you've exploited the trade. Happy days, okay? The weekly, we're doing okay on the week. Coming away from that zone. Big red vector candle on the 2-week chart itself. So a little bit of a recovery should be on the cards, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. We're going to see a start of a new 1-hour candle, ladies and gentlemen. On the 1-hour time frame, are they going to run towards the upside, testing that 50 EMA? Let's see if Bitcoin can actually follow through with this. 19 seconds until the news announcements, guys. I really should bring up a split on the charts. Where are we going? Let's bring this up here. Hopefully I've got all the same. Come on. Are we going to see that move? Where is it? Let's just get gold. Here we go. Forget it. Don't mind. Don't mind. Don't mind. Here we go. We got the movement. News announcements. Just keep an eye out on dollar yen. Keep an eye out on dollar yen. Here we go. What's the move saying? Where's gold? Where's gold? Gold's up. Is he going to move up? Strong. Come on, yen. Is that news out? Looks like it might be out. Bitcoin's moving. 391, 400 Bitcoin up there. Come on. Break away. This is the test of the zone. It needs to break away from this point. Come on. Don't think it's going to work, ladies and gentlemen. Where is it? Come on. News announcements. Ooh, more people are claiming benefit. So that should lead gold back up. Gold's moving up. Come on, Bitcoin. Serve the purpose because I've got to go and get the mini market maker. Come on. Test that psychological low. Is this a stopping volume candle? This is what we're looking for. Come on, make that break, Bitcoin, man. I've got to go. 268 Bitcoin right there. They're going to flush through that zone and eat it up. Come on, Bitcoin, man. 352, 283 up there. They want that 30 zone. I really hope Bitcoin can break that 30 range, man. Look now. Look, where's that liquidity gone? There was nearly 600 Bitcoin in here. Where's it gone? Here we go. Give me that 30 Bitcoin. Come on. Look what's going on. Look up here. Look what's happening here. Over 1,000 Bitcoin in this zone. Make the move, Bitcoin. I've got my daughter to pick up, bro. Come on, make the move. I need it to see a break above this point right here. Come on, Bitcoin. Yippee-ki-yay, come on. Don't like it. Don't like it. Still not making its way to that wick. News announcement has clearly come in favorable for Bitcoin. Come on. Come on, man. Give me that fire, Bitcoin. Come on. Make that move. 30k, 444 Bitcoin at 30k. Building the longs at lower prices to try and break through to that point. This is what narrative we're testing. Is it going to break and flush out that 30k range? Here we go. Got some commitment. Yippee-ki-yay to the upside. Bitcoin, make it happen, man. Come on. Eat that liquidity. Eat, Pac-Man. Come on. Make that move. 352 Bitcoin, 243, 400 still at 30k. This might be a stop hunt, guys. Got to be careful. Might be a stop hunt. They haven't broken it. Look, they tapped it. Hasn't broken it, man. Not liking that. Really need to see that move. Come on. Gold. Where's it at? Gold's moving up. Dollar yen, where you at? Oil's coming down, guys. That's good news for us. Dominance is moving up on Bitcoin across the board. Ethereum's coming back up. Gold is moving up, 1.35% up for the day. That's good news for us. SPX, Nasdaq is moving up as well. Yen needs to be dropping down. If it isn't, then we're seeing a little bit of a trap. Come on, Bitcoin. Oh, my God. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are new to the channel and you have just experienced this madness in the chart, be sure to subscribe. Listen quick, and I might just chew your ear off that little bit more, ladies and gentlemen, in the next and up-and-coming streams. Now listen, If Bitcoin does make it above the 30k range, we will ideally project towards the psychological high, because the only next point of interest is that 200 EMA. But remember, we are in stop hunt territories. New York is infamous for its reversals, so just be mindful. If you're taking trades and you're paying and you are in a profit, pay yourselves, ladies and gentlemen, because I want you guys to be here with me next week when we go live again, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I've got to make a move to go get my daughter. It has been an absolute pleasure. Mad love and respect. And if you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on this madness that we call trading. It has been an honor serving you all. Have yourselves a wonderful day, and I'll check in with you later. Take care of yourselves, family. Peace.